Hello everyone, and welcome back to Wicked Reading. Today I will be reading SCP-1625, Tradition. Object Class, Keter, previously Euclid. SCP-1625 is an oral tradition within the Amaski tribe of Kenya. Said tradition consists of a mythic story explaining the history of the tribe's ethnarch, known as, translating roughly to originator, and the creation of the Amaski people. The anomalous features of SCP-1625 are only apparent when an individual attempts to recount it. All individuals who attempt to pass on SCP-1625 will provide a different ending for the story. For documentation, refer to Testing Log 1625-1. There have been no documented repeat endings, i.e., those which appear more than once from different individuals. SCP-1625 follows a consistent structure for all retellings, beginning with being held in slavery in the north, followed by his escape, his founding of the Amaski tribe, and the liberation of the Amaski people from slavery. The standard story ends after this point, with each speaker providing their own ending. The secondary trait of SCP-1625 is its genetic transfer. SCP-1625 is inherently known by any individual who is at least 10% descended from an Amaski member, even if they have received no previous knowledge of SCP-1625. Attempts at using amnestics have met with failure, as afflicted subjects will remember the legend after several days. For this reason, all genetic Amaski members are to be secured at Site-37. SCP-1625-1 is a corpse, identified as that of an African male and understood to be that of Patriarch of the Amaski tribe. A new instance of -1 will appear after any attempt to pass on the legend. The body will continually appear at Site-1625, though the specific location varies. The condition of the body, as well as any objects surrounding it or inscriptions in the area, varies and will change each time SCP-1625 is passed on. The location will often change with -1, with the body being located, in several cases, in either a large mausoleum, a common grave, or buried several feet underground in a nondescript location. Following the events of Incident 1625-1, personnel are to treat -1 instances with extreme caution until the specimen can be safely secured. It is unknown as of writing how -1 is continually transferred to Site-1625, though research at Site-37 is ongoing. Testing Log 1625-1. Subject: Ethnic Amaski Member Adra Abasi. Summary: Subject was asked to inform junior researcher Marson about his ancestral story. After relating the standard story, the speaker's legend continued with taking many wives and living into old age until one of his unfaithful wives, identified as, poisoned him using guaya, Lathyrus sativus, the Indian pea. -1 results. -1 was discovered in an ornate above-ground tomb, featuring carvings along the walls, picturing burial and execution. -1 was found with no external injuries, though later testing revealed large amounts of guaya in -1's stomach, as well as evidence that neuroletherism was the cause of death. A full list of autopsies performed on -1 is located in document 1625-78 Charlie. Subject: Junior Researcher Marson. Summary: Following the above test, Junior Researcher Marson was asked to write down a summary of the legend. Marson proceeded to repeat the same story related to him by Adra Abasi. However, once he reached the point following the liberation, his written account diverged. Became a tyrant of the people, according to the written account. in junior researcher Marson upon questioning, and committed atrocities against his people. The legend goes into graphic detail, denouncing and his actions, as well as describing his arrest, trial, and death. Junior researcher Marson claims that the account was the same as the one he learned of 3 hours prior. -1 results. -1 was found in a common grave, and the body showed signs of extreme mutilation. Among the injuries sustained were several broken bones, a crudely amputated leg, third-degree burns, and no markings were present nearby, nor were there any artifacts. Incident 1625-1. On November 5, 1993, during routine tests involving SCP-1625, an ethnic Amaski member, Joseph West, created what is now document 1625-Alpha-3, a transcript of SCP-1625. The ending in said document stated that there was a plague which afflicted the Amaski tribe that eventually killed over people before being stopped via quarantine. Following standard procedure, the research team at Site 1625 searched for and located -1 in a previously undiscovered tomb. The tomb was sealed off and placed underground and was seemingly carved out of the surrounding rock. Inscriptions along the walls described a disease with symptoms similar to those of the bubonic plague, though several qualities were similar to. The inscriptions also gave multiple warnings, addressing the body of -1 itself was found several dozen feet underground with other corpses and returned to the surface for testing. 7 other corpses were also moved above ground for additional testing. After 4 days, the head researcher of Site 1625, Dr. Betros, requested additional medical supplies due to staff illness. Supplies were sent from nearby Site 91, escorted by MTF Beta 9, aka Dead Reckoning, equipped and trained to handle dead or undead entities. Upon arrival, Beta 9 discovered the members of the research staff were infected with the disease detailed in document 1625-Alpha-3, and Site 1625 was deemed a quarantine area. Members of MTF Beta 9 carried out Procedure 37 Romeo, and new staff members were brought in to replace the previous researchers. On November 15, 1993, the current procedures were approved for Site 1625 and for the Amaski tribe. The tribe, along with 12 descendants, was moved to Site 37 on April 17, 1994. Incident 1625-2. On September 28, 2006, researcher Garrett compared genetic testing from an instance of -1 to a sample acquired in 1953. Garrett found the samples to be from 2 different individuals, and further testing has shown that each instance of -1 possesses a separate genetic code. In cases, samples from -1 have been matched with missing persons from various parts of the world. It is unknown how these individuals were transported to Site 1625, how they developed the appearance of -1, a majority of the missing persons were not of African descent, or how they sustained the injuries documented in -1. Further funding and analysis has been approved by O5 as of July 9, 2007. Addendum 1625-1. On August 15, 2009, SCP-1625 was officially reclassified as Keter due to its rate of spread, danger to other individuals, and inability to be contained. For further information, refer to Dr. Anderson at Site 37 and document 1625-K4, Reclassification Measures. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-1625 itself cannot be contained due to its incorporeal nature. All members of the Amaski tribe as well as their descendants are contained at the former quarantine area of Site 37. As of this date, There are 53 individuals of the tribe living at the containment site, who are to be provided standard living arrangements for on-site personnel, including food, water, and shelter. The current containment area consists of 53 cells for members of the tribe, which are their personal living areas. Unmasking members are allowed contact with each other under supervision in the Site-37 cafeteria. However, multiple guards must be present at all times to prevent spread of SCP-1625. Guards are stationed around the living site in order to refrain from using lethal force unless authorized. See Security Document 371-Alpha. Appropriate security measures during minor containment breaches of non-anomalous individuals. Under no circumstances outside of official testing are any Amaski descendants permitted to pass on oral or written tradition. Site security performs containment area search and sweeps for any possible recordings or documents of SCP-1625 once a week. Any Amaski members who are discovered attempting to record SCP-1625 are to be immediately reassigned to D-Class status following approval by Site Director Easton. Foundation operatives are currently searching for additional ethnic members of the clan, though a majority have been found and taken into Foundation custody. Out of an estimated approximately 85%. All agents who believe they have encountered an Amaski descendant are to acquire a DNA sample and send the sample to Biosite 4 for testing. If the individual is confirmed as being of at least 10% Amaski descent, Foundation agents are to secure and escort the subject to Site-37. SCP-1625-1 is secured at Observation Site 1625, located near Kenya. The site is currently presented to the public as an archaeological dig in the nearby area. Any testing performed involving SCP-1625 is to be relayed to Site-1625 immediately so researchers may locate -1. If a -1 instance develops on site, all personnel are instructed to remove samples with caution and send them to Biosite 4.